What's up? It's your boy Adam. If I'm looking rough, it's because I'm feeling rough. Um, so yeah, I came home yesterday. You saw yesterday's video from the park on my way home. And then you saw when I got home, I have not just no hot water, I had no water. And the landlord's like, oh, just use the shower in the house. So legally, I'm supposed to have water here in the unit. If you rent out a unit, you're required to provide everything you need in the unit. The water. This is a big deal. 75 something. I don't know how many days it's been now. It's April 15th. Still don't have hot water. I have to use the toilet. Like, running water means you can't even use your own toilet. So I had to make him turn I came home, there was no water at all. I at least have cold water now. I don't know what they've done to disconnect. I don't know. Ugh. So I at least have running water now, but I don't have hot water. And once again, now it's ice cold. You know, if you watched yesterday's video, you saw the whole, you heard the entire shit show from beginning to end, and to where it is right now. No idea when I'm gonna have a 6-gallon hot water heater installed. I can't even imagine I'll be able to take a 5-minute shower with only 6 gallons of hot water. But at this point, it doesn't. At this point, I'm just over it. At this point, like see how I can't talk about this anymore. Someday you're gonna hear a really crazy I can't talk about this right now. So I have 4 days to try and figure out my next move before I have to go move 40 miles on the bicycle to go to my part-time job again. The things that I don't really know what to talk about right now. I don't have notes in front of me. I didn't have anything queued up. I don't have any stories to tell. I'm working on, I am just going to put my head down and try to get a serious amount of work done in the next 4 days on one particular project. My anger is so intense right now. Like, I am so beyond livid about this. This is like, all of these things are having such an you cannot you cannot function in any way, shape, or form as a normal human being when you're dealing with this kind of nonsense. The landlord's just telling me, oh, just be patient, I'll get it done. Just be fucking patient? Just be fucking patient. Just be patient. February 1st is the day I moved in here and didn't have hot water, and now it's April 15th. I think patience, I'm done with patience. I'm fucking done with patience at this point. This is the biggest retarded shit show I've ever seen in my fucking life. There's no more patience. That's over. That ship fucking sailed. That ship left the dock, and that ship is so far past the horizon you can't even see it anymore. It's out there. It's in the ocean now. That ship is gone. It's on its way. No more Patience left in the harbor. The SS Patience is on its way to who knows where. It's gone. It's not here anymore. We're done with that. I had patience. I've been patient this whole fucking time. I'll just leave it at that for now. I can take an ice cold shower or go in the house and take a shower. There are a couple of reasons why I shouldn't go use the shower in the house, and I don't want to talk about that. Like, there's 20 different things just went through my head, and I'm like, nope, can't say that, can't say that. Nope, 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 can't say that one, that one, that one, or that one. Just let it go. There's going to be another day to talk about that. So, let's see. What can I talk about? I can talk about what my plans are for the next 4 days. I'm taking this is my wake up chill minute. I had a meeting. I was awake, but I wasn't out of bed yet. I just got up and met with a client for a couple hours to go over some things. Good meeting, really good meeting. The two clients that I'm doing work for right now, they know the situation. They found me because I was homeless. So they know what's going on, and they're being really cool about everything. And they realize that it's not that if I didn't have to deal with probation, and if I didn't have to deal with things like this, not having water in my residence, and having to ride a bicycle everywhere and all these different things, there would be a better chance. Like, I would be able to get this work done fast. So what I really have to do right now is block out all the negativity. And that's easier said than done. What am I going to do today? The first of the 4 days. I've already had my meeting. I did accomplish things last week, believe it or not. I got a lot of work done for the time that I was able to put in. Problem is, I was supposed to put in twice as much time as I did. That's the problem. That 78-mile bike ride put the kibosh on a whole day. That whole day of my life gone for that. So, that would have been a half-hour drive each way. Yeah, that would have been 3 hours out of a day sitting in a car driving and meeting somebody all combined. Maybe stop and do a couple of errands since I'm out and about. Stop at oh my God. Groceries. Wasn't even thinking about that. So that's something, like, I said I could skip a week on groceries because I was well stocked at some point. I skipped 2 Sundays in a row now for groceries. And now things are getting, like, I could probably scramble and put something together for dinner tonight. But I'm going to have to go drop a little bit of money at the grocery store today to be stocked up on food and stuff again. And I'm not going to be as well stocked as I was when I was going every week. So I've taken a hit there. This landlord's chaos, the slumlord chaos that I'm dealing with, is having such a massive negative impact on my life right now. massive. Like, I was better off being homeless in a lot of ways than I am right now. Overall, no. No. Overall, overall, I think anybody would agree being homeless is worse than what I'm dealing with right now. But the level of stress, the level of disruption to my life right now is, everybody sees it. When I go into the bakery right now, they're all understanding of what's going on because they all know what's going on now. But they see it. They're like, we can tell just by the way you look, no offense, but the way that you look right now and the way that you, like, you can just tell. Like, we can tell that you are absolutely being put through the ringer with this. Because you're not the same as you were a couple months ago. Like, we can tell. Like, they're like, they're being supportive in terms of, we hope this all works out for you and, you're able to get past this. But, like, everybody around me can tell that I'm falling apart right now. And I didn't deserve this shit at all. What did I do? I signed a lease with a landlord and I pay my rent on time, and this is how I'm getting shit on as a result. No fucking water, no hot water, place falling apart around me, broken promises, 3 fucking months, being threatened to get kicked out if I don't agree to pay more. He wants me to pay more rent every month, and I don't even have hot water. What the fuck kind of dumbass bullshit slumlord nonsense is that? So, you're going to leave a bunch of comments about what I just said. Just keep in mind of what I said earlier. Just watch the whole video again if you need to. So what can I do? What's in my power right now that I can talk about? I got to get rid of this. So I'm going to use an electric trimmer. I'm going to have to charge the battery on that. Like, my place is trashed again. The fucking tiny house is absolutely trashed. I've got dirty dishes I can't wash. I've got, like, the whole place is just a fucking pig pen. It's a goddamn roach motel at this point. I fucking hate every minute that I'm sitting in this fucking place right now. Every minute that I have to sit in this fucking shit show is just grinding me and pissing me off to the point. There's some things I just can't say because I don't want to go back to prison, so I'm not going to say it. And we're just going to leave it at that. You learn your lessons in life. I have another meeting tomorrow afternoon, evening-ish, that will be very interesting. Should be very interesting. I am pretty sure that I'm going to come away from that meeting feeling very happy. I have a feeling. I just, I don't know how that's going to go, but okay, so what can I control in this situation? Survival. If I'm like, yeah, so at least I have the cold water now. Now I can take a shit and flush the toilet. So in the grand scheme of it all right now, where am I? I'm basically below where I was when I moved in, because when I moved in, the hot water heater thing, it would get the water kind of warm. But not hot. Not even close to hot. Just not ice cold. Now I have ice cold water. because there's no hot water heating of any kind going on. Everything else is basically the same. So if I can just break it down into problem is there's nothing I can do right this minute, today, right now. But there are lots and lots and lots of options on the table right now. Just none of it's my fault, and none of it is going to resolve my situation right now. That's what I can say. And it needs to be done right fucking now. I moved into this place on February 1st and none of this shit was working. And to sit there and demand that I pay more money for a broken fucking rundown shit show when I have a lease that's locked in? Oh my God. I don't know what God's trying to teach me here. But, like, I've been being tortured for over a year now since I got out of prison. Non-stop torture. I'm just getting to the point where I can't take it anymore. Nobody could. Nobody could do what the fuck. Nobody could put up with what I'm going through right now. Nobody, without being completely fucked up over it. The people who leave comments and tell me to shut up and stop being a whiny bitch don't have any problems in life. They don't have problems like this. They live in nice homes. They have good jobs. They have everything they want and need in life. And so they're just going to be a fucking internet troll showing up saying, oh, stop bitching, you whiny asshole. Fuck you. That's all I'm going to say to the trolls that are going to show up and leave comments. I just don't give a fuck right now. I don't give a fuck about my language. I'm not going to stop swearing. Fuck that. I don't care anymore. I just don't fucking care. This is so beyond fucked. You work your ass off to get a roof over your head, and then you can't even have that. But this is not the end of that story. I'm trying to get my head straight so that I can at least put a video out that isn't just the ramblings of a madman. It's already 16 minutes in, and that's all it's been so far. So let's see. I'm not the only one who's had to put up with some bullshit from a landlord. Many, many, many people have gone through that. This is part of the reasons why one thing I will never ever do, ever. It doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter. Nothing. I will never be a landlord. Never do that. I would never in a million years be a landlord. There's nothing. You couldn't pay me enough to do that or to be one of those. I wouldn't be on the other side of it. If I was, I wouldn't make tenants. I wouldn't put people through this. But it's just as bad on both sides of the aisle. And the thing is, if you're going to go and be a slumlord, then you're going to get slum tenants. Because nobody's going to come into this shit show and look around and be like, oh yeah, I want to live here. You're going to look at this place and be like, it'll do for now. That's the best reaction you're going to get from somebody walking in here and looking at this place, finding out there's no hot water and all this other shit is, I guess this will fucking do for now. It's a roof. That's the best reaction so no good tenants You're gonna be he's gonna be if he loses a good tenant out of this that would have been no headaches, paid his rent on time, didn't cause problems and make your life more stressful, that ship's gone. That ship will be gone. And you'll be dealing with shitty ass tenants from that point on. Because a good tenant in a place like this is like that's like winning the fucking lottery. If you're gonna offer slum dwellings, then you're gonna get slum tenants. If this is your, you know what I mean? Or you're gonna get someone who's down on his luck, who's trying to rebuild a life that was destroyed for one reason or another, and he just needs a place to get his footing. And then if you're gonna rip that rug out from under him, you it's gonna leave it. I got to get off the subject. It's 20 minutes, but this is the all-consuming thing right now. It's so hard to get off the topic. So my plans are, what time is it? Got it. I got plenty of time left to do something constructive with my day today. Plenty of time. I can make money. I can make more money today. Let me think about it. I could make more money today than 2 weeks at the bakery if I can just focus. 2 weeks full-time hours at the bakery, I could make more today in a day than working 2 full-time weeks at the bakery if I can just keep my damn focus for long enough to get stuff done. In order to do that, I have to clean this place the best I can. Get laundry in the laundry, get my clothes put away, get my bicycle. It's not going to be instantaneous. I'm going to have to take about 4 or 5 breaks throughout the day. But at the end of the day, the place needs to be as clean, tidy, and spotless as I can make it. As I can make it, that's the key word. Because I can only do so much at this point. This floor, every time people come it's like a Scotch tape floor. I've never seen... I was talking in the videos yesterday, every single thing this guy does is the cheapest possible thing you can do. And the floor here, it's literally like plywood with this black Scotch tape covering it. I don't know, it must be pretty wide. It's literally no more durable than Scotch tape. So when you walk on it, I don't walk around in my bicycle shoes that much. Those are the only shoes I have that will mar up a floor. I usually take those off as soon as I come in the house, not because I care about the floor, but because I want to get them off my feet. Every other shoe I have is pretty, I have Crocs, socks, and a pair of sneakers. So there's not much being done to the floor. I constantly have to patch up this floor because they're constantly ripping holes in the Scotch tape flooring as they come in and out, walk around and move things around. You move a piece of furniture, they move to the fridge. All the Scotch tape flooring is all chewed up and torn up off the floor. So I go around and I patch it with Gorilla duct tape. Here's the thing, Gorilla duct tape is 100 times is stronger than the flooring material. So every time I put down a patch of Gorilla duct tape, that is more durable and will last longer than the floor material that I'm patching up. And so at least the landlord says he doesn't care about the floor. He says he's not gonna. Now, when you move out and they're holding on to that security deposit that they don't want to give back to you, guess what's going to be on the itemized bill? all the damage to the Scotch tape floor is going to be one of the items he's going to claim damages for when I move out. But for now, he says he doesn't care. So just for me to have peace of mind and for the place to look a little better, I put down Gorilla duct tape, black Gorilla duct tape over the patches of the floor that get ripped up every time they come in and out and fuck it up. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got like 9 or 10 patches to put down today that are all new. The whole floor is going to be consisting of Gorilla duct tape instead of this Scotch tape bullshit that I don't even know what it is. I don't even know where you would get anything like this. This is the most retarded shit I've ever seen on a floor. I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even know where you would go at Home Depot to get this shit. It's so fucking crazy, man. It's so fucking crazy. Can't tell you how many times I've heard the landlord say, "Oh, the contractor I hired did such a shitty job." Blah. Well, stop picking up contractors in quotes, by going to Home Depot and picking up somebody sitting in the parking lot and bringing them back to work on your shit. Like, you can only blame yourself when you're constantly chasing after the dirt cheapest option to do anything. What is the dirt cheapest thing I can get away with here? When your whole life revolves around that and you're trying to be a landlord, you're just going to create more problems for you. Every time you solve a problem, you're creating 10 more problems. There's a bunch of people trying to tell him this. Not just me. But he won't listen. He's like, whatever, dude. You're digging your own grave. You're digging your own grave, and every day you keep digging, you get another 2 feet underground. Eventually, you're going to start getting hot because the Earth's core is molten rock, and you're getting close. You're getting close to that. You're not going to be able to dig a hole to China. You're just going to dig a hole that gets so deep that it gets too hot to be in the hole. But go ahead, keep doing what you're doing and see how it turns out. The ending to your story is going to be fucking hilarious. I'm just pissed off right now. I have every right to be pissed off at this point. Now it's 28 minutes and I can't stop talking about it. So, this is like me trying to get into the right frame of mind so that I can accomplish something today. Now I've got some tasks that need to be done, that have to be done every week. I did one of them on Sunday. Or Saturday. I did one of them Saturday. So when I sit down to do it today, I'll still have to do it. But it should only take 15, 20 minutes, maybe a little longer, but it won't take long. I got to go grocery shopping today at some point. Preferably, I'm going to say around 5 o'clock I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to go to the grocery store, and it will break up the day nicely. I got to get my hair cut, too. Like, that's a necessity. So I'm basically... Here's a good analogy. I was saying that I was better off when I was homeless than I am right now, and in some ways that's true. This is a little taste, just a small taste of what life would have been like when I was homeless if I didn't choose to live in a homeless shelter. I would not have been able to accomplish as much in that time as I did without being in the homeless shelter. If I was out in the woods living under a tarp in a hammock in a tent or whatever I could cobble together out in the woods and find a safe, out of the way place. And in Jamestown, I already know where I would have tried to set up a camp, exactly where. I even walked down there at one point and saw the place with my own eyes, but I didn't climb over the guardrail on the side of the road and go back into the woods and really poke around back there. So I wasn't 100% sure. And I'm like, man, this is such a good spot in my mind, because the only thing I had was Google Earth and Google's, Google Street View, Google satellite photos. But I'm really good at this game of finding places. I could camp right in your backyard and you'd never know. But I could set up a camp. I could have set up a camp in Jamestown in this one spot. Out of all the spots I had thought of, mapped out, actually seen, like, I had a big list, because if it came down to it, I had well over 50 places marked on a map that I could go and sleep. Not that I wanted to, but if I had to. This one in particular, though, seemed really great. In terms of stealthiness, far enough. See, the thing with Jamestown is you'd have to be willing to walk to get there. Because the homeless people, they're going to stick around what's convenient. They're all going to be down by the riverfront, down by Tim Hortons, all camped in the same. They were all camped in the same spot. Why? Because it's close and it's convenient to everything that they need and want. They don't have to walk far to get anything. So if you're willing to put on a backpack, or if you're willing to walk, that will weed out a lot of people. So the spot that I was thinking of, I felt like it was a safe bet in terms of being able to set up a camp there and not have anybody around me or knowing that I was there. I'm not going to say where it was, but I actually did walk past it. I just didn't feel like getting all dirty, and like I didn't feel like doing the thing I didn't feel like climbing the guardrail, going through the weeds, and like going back to the spot itself. But I looked around and I'm like, yeah, this would be perfect. No one would ever know. No one would ever know unless there's already people back there, because they also know. But it was far enough away from where all the homeless people normally camp that I couldn't imagine people would be back there. But there were other places that I thought would be good like that when I went and looked, there were homeless camps already there. And there were lots of them in different places, but this one in particular was a little bit longer of a walk, and I think the walking filters out a lot of the people who would. The distance has a huge effect. If you go from Homeless Camp Central, the big one that was all over the news in Jamestown, hundreds of people camping in this one spot, and you make a radius each half mile that you go from Homeless Camp Central to the satellite camps, each half mile that you add to the walk drops the number of people that are going to be camping there significantly, down to where, the homeless camp east might have 4 people instead of 300. The further you go from the central hub, the more the chances are better of you having the place to yourself. And so the cops are all focused on Homeless Camp Central. That's the one where they're always going back and kicking everybody out and harassing people and everything else. But if you're camping by yourself 2 miles away from Homeless Camp Central in your own private little camp that nobody can even see that you're there, and you're not visible from the street to the point where you can even have a campfire and people could smell it, but they won't know where it's coming from. They'll just assume someone's having a campfire in their backyard. Nobody's going to bother you. That's what you want to do if you're smart and you have to do this kind of thing. This situation here in the tiny house is like just a microscopic taste of what it would be like to be homeless without a homeless shelter. And when I say microscopic taste, just the hassle of not having hot water. But the difference is, so yeah, like, how would I clean myself? How would I, look at me. How would I clean myself? How would I do this? How would I do that without hot water? Now, I go camping all the time, so I know how I would do it. So that's not an issue. But how fast would living like that grind you to a pulp to where you can't function and you can't find a job and you can't even go to the library to do productive things to try and improve your life, and all the things that I was doing while I was homeless? If you had to live out in the woods like that, out of a backpack, under a tarp, every time it rains, you're pinned down. Because what's your choice? Stay under the tarp and stay relatively dry, or tear down camp and be completely soaked from head to toe until you can find a place to dry off. All these different factors. There were times I had to walk to a job interview there was a couple times one time specifically I had to walk to a job interview, pouring rain, like torrential downpour rain. I had a nervous breakdown by the time I got there. Soaked, head to toe, completely soaked, drenched. Like, it looked like I just jumped in the river and jumped back out. I had a change of clothes in a plastic garbage bag. I put all my wet clothes in the garbage bag, rolled it up. It was a laptop bag. I went to a job interview one time carrying a backpack. Not even a big backpack, just a laptop-sized backpack, and I got accused of being homeless at the job interview. They're like, "Are you homeless?" Come in with a shoulder bag, a laptop bag, and then during the job interview, you pull out a folder with papers in it in your resume or whatever. Like, they give you some papers and you put them in your folder. But if you pull out a folder and you have a pen in your hand, then they're like, "Oh, he just carried his bag, his business. That's his business stuff. That's his, he's really organized." You come in with all that same stuff in a backpack. Are you homeless? Which means, we're not fucking hiring him. Fuck no, we don't want no homeless people having a job. So, that was a game that I had to play. So I just like, this is just a small taste of, here's how rough life has been because I don't have water, proper water. Just hot water. One thing. There's other problems with this little house and the bicycle and the not being able to get a car and all this other shit. But just one, this is like a tiny little taste of what it would have been like if I didn't have a homeless shelter to go to. It's insane to think about. Because I'm having a hard time doing anything right now. And it should be the opposite. I finally got my own place. I finally got my own place, and it was supposed to have some stability and some, and instead my ability to sit down and get work done has diminished. It's completely gone. When I was homeless, I was getting all kinds of stuff done. When I was living at my friend's house, that went down a little bit. But I was working more or less full-time hours at a bakery, as many hours as they'd give me. Literally, I just said my schedule is wide open from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. Every day, just give me the hours you want to give me. And then I still had time to do other things while I was living at my friend's house. Now I've got my own place, and I'm the least productive I've been since I got out of prison. Literally, the least productive time of my life since I've been out of prison has been the day I moved into this fucking shit show here. Everything is falling apart. Everything is falling. Like, this is turning out to be the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done. Well, the dumbest thing you've ever done is post shit on social media that got the FBI to come to your house and put you in prison for 2 years, Adam. But the dumbest thing I've done since I came to Houston was moving into this place. But at the time, there were no options. There were no other. I live in the fourth biggest city in America, and it's still impossible to find a fucking place to live. Just leave it at that for now. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Finding a place to live when I lived in Pittsburgh used to be easy. Used to be super easy. Each time I've moved in my life, finding a place has gotten harder and harder. Except for when I moved out to the house in Amish country in Pennsylvania, I literally looked at one ad. It was like God materialized this place for me. It was the very first ad in Craigslist. The very first ad. It was ad number 1 on January 1st. I looked at it on January 2nd. I gave them the money on January 2nd and or January 3rd I went back. I locked it in. I looked at it on January 2nd. The next day I locked it in. I went up and gave them a down payment as soon as I was able to drive up there. So within less than a week, everything was locked in for an April 1st move. They were fine with me giving them a down payment with the first month's rent due on April 1st. And they even gave me the keys and said, feel free to start moving your stuff up. They said if you end up moving in before April 1st, we'll just, we'll do what needs to be done. But it was a big move, and I had a lot of stuff, and I was just taking trips in a Jeep Liberty with the back seats folded down 2-3 times a week. I would drive up there, drop off some stuff, enjoy the new place, like walk around in amazement that this was my new home soon to be. Couldn't wait for it to be. I would go up there and drop off my stuff for the trip and just be like in amazement, like, I can't believe this is my home now. I remember taking my son up there and he was like, like, it's so sad. It's so sad. Like, that was a dream home. That was a once in a lifetime kind of a dream home to find that place. Like, Job lost everything and he ended up better off. God can do it. But I don't know. So back to, we're 44 minutes in. I'm going to cap this at an hour, even if it's just me losing my mind for an hour. So I already know, for the rest of the time I live in this place, I'm not going to have hot water. It's just, we're done. We know this. It's never going to happen. Nothing's ever going to be fixed. Nothing's ever going to be better. Whatever it is today, that's the best it's the best it's going to get. So now I've got to do whatever needs to be done. And in order to do that, I have to work and I have to make a serious amount of money quickly. I got to get more serious about YouTube right now. I've got to try and capitalize. I got to try and find the magic formula that gets me the right amount of views and generates regular monthly income. I have to just take everything to another level, but I need to be able to focus on it. I had an easier time focusing at the Jamestown Public Library than I have focusing in my own place. In my own place right now. But what can I do to make that a little better today? Clean. Do the best I possibly can. Clean and organize the place. If everywhere you look, Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect, one of the things he used to say is, if you're surrounded by chaos, your mind will be in chaos and you won't be able to focus and be productive and do the things that you need to do. He built his homes around putting his clients in the good state of mind so that they could accomplish what they want to accomplish in their lives, because they're surrounded by beauty and everything fits and everything's aesthetically correct, and everything has a purpose and everything's organized and everything's clean and beautiful, and he brings nature inside so that you're surrounded by beauty everywhere, because then it will make you a more productive and a better person. And I can say that for sure, because when I lived out in Amish country in that house I was just talking about, it was the most productive time of my life. I became more successful than I'd ever been in my life because of my surroundings. The tranquility, being next to a waterfall, all the woods, the quiet, the peace and quiet, the beautiful home, the 3 fireplaces, the man cave that me and my son spent a lot of time hanging out in, the separate detached building that was my office. All of these things brought peace of mind and put me in a place that I could accomplish all that I set out to accomplish. And now that I'm surrounded by complete chaos and dog shit, that's about what I'm able to accomplish right now, is nothing but fucking dog shit. Your surroundings have a huge impact on what you can actually do and accomplish in your life. That's why I was able to accomplish more being homeless than I was if I had been in that home with the psychotic whack job that I came home to. Being homeless was an upgrade, and I was actually in a better space that I could actually get more done. Not that it was good. None of that was good. This place that I'm sitting in right now was supposed to be the first step in that direction, and it's been a major step backwards in terms of me being able to get things done and start putting things together, because now it's like being on a leaky ship. You're constantly running around. How do you sail the ship when you have to be under the deck scooping out buckets of water and dumping them over the side of the boat just to keep the thing from fucking sinking? You're not going to be able to go stand by the big steering wheel and drive the ship, are you? If you're constantly bailing out water from below deck. So I got to get out of this constantly bailing water out from below deck and get up and grab the fucking wheel and drive the fucking ship for once. I'm sick and tired of just going wherever the fucking wind blows and the waves push the ship without having any fucking control over it. But it's a leaky boat. And if I go and I grab the steering wheel and try to change direction, the boat's gonna sink. So I got to get out of this leaky fucking boat. And, leave your comments and make your suggestions. That's fine. Just don't go around thinking that this is all that's going on. in terms of getting the leaky boat fixed. Watch the whole video. Listen to what I said. You can put two and two together. Talk to me privately, one-on-one. Some of you do. I have lots of good email conversations and conversations outside of the channel with a lot of you people, and a lot of you people are really cool, but a lot of you know a lot of you know more than what I can say in the video. So what else can I control today? So I have tasks I have to do. I have jobs I have to do. I have 10 more minutes before I'm going to cap this video. I've got today, Tuesday, is going to have to be, I think there's going to be more hours spent trying to bring peace and tranquility to this house, the tiny house, than I'm going to have to do actual work. If I sit down in front of my computer right now, I won't get much done because it's all, I need some sort of, I need a clean, organized space, especially when it's like this. That's one thing, even in prison, honestly, having a clean, organized space in prison is an absolute necessity, absolute must. Because you are in such a bad mental space and the jail cell's so small and you're usually sharing this tiny little space. Sometimes the space is so narrow that you can put one hand on one wall and your opposite hand on the opposite wall, and you've got two people crammed into that room together, sometimes for 5 days at a time without being let out to take a shower. That space has to be organized and clean. It's tough. Most people in prison are very clean and organized like that because you have to be. It's a sanity thing. At home, I can deal with it a little bit. I can deal with dirty dishes overnight. I can deal with, if I make a meal and it's late in the day and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll do the dishes tomorrow. I can do that. I know that tomorrow it's going to be worse to do them, but sometimes I'm just too tired. Okay, fine, I can let that slip. But I have a week's worth of chaos surrounding me that I haven't been able to do anything about. I got a pile of dirty clothes right there. I washed those clothes on last Tuesday. I haven't even since last Tuesday, I haven't even been able to fold those clothes and put them away. And now I've got another bag of dirty laundry that needs to get washed today to go on top of this pile. All week long, I've been pulling clean clothes out of that pile and then moving the pile from the bed to the chair, from the chair to the bed, from the bed to the chair, from the chair to the bed, every time I go from sitting in the chair to laying down in bed. That's all I can do this week. That's all I got. Can't fold clothes because I got to charge all the bicycle lights over there on the desk. That takes, when I plug in all the lights, I've got at least 5 hours. So when I get off the thing here, this video, the first thing I'm gonna do is plug in all the bicycle lights, because that's the only place I can do it where it's not total chaos. Once all the bicycle lights are charged, I can take everything off the table, wipe the table down, and now I've got a place to fold all my clothes. I can use the bed to organize my clothes into piles. By the time the bicycle lights are done, I should also have laundry done. So bicycle lights, laundry, get that done right away. So that by the time the lights are charged, the clothes are dry. I only have one load of laundry to do. I'm pretty sure it'll all fit in one load. Boom, boom, done. And so there's some of the chaos is under control. The next thing I'm going to do I have computer-related tasks. I keep timesheets every week to track the productive time that I spend. I have to update those and do that. I've got to update my bank account stuff. I got all those little weekly tasks and chores that are digital chores. Call them digital chores. Have to be done today. I can also I'm gonna get all that out of the way as fast as I can. Sometimes those digital chores take 2 to 3, sometimes 4 hours a week to do it. There are dishes that have to be done, water bottles that have to be filled, and filtered water. I have to make coffee. I made one thing of cold brew coffee last night so that I would have some for today. I have to finish that bottle. It's in the fridge right now. It's finished brewing. So I'm gonna complete that one. And that gives me, and then I'm gonna do all the dishes throughout the day. I'm not gonna do it shouldn't take that long, but I don't have hot water. I gotta wash dishes with cold water. It's the only way to get them clean right now. So that should take, I'm only gonna do a few at a time. I'm gonna get up off the computer. I'm gonna walk over there. I'm just gonna wash a few, put them away, dry them, wash them, dry them, and put them away on the spot. Then I'll go fill up the water filter. And I'm just going to chip away at that throughout the day so that by the time I'm done, by the time 5 o'clock gets around and I go to the grocery store, I probably won't even be done with the dishes, to be honest. But when I get back, and it's not going to be, I can tell you already, I'm going to Burger King. Like, that's not even, I can't even really afford to spend money on groceries right now. Let alone haircut, let alone Burger King. I'm going to try to see if I can get a haircut appointment today. I could probably go one more day on the hair. So I might push that I might actually try to do that Wednesday. Tomorrow or Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. So there's that. And I'm just going to try to organize and tidy up the space as much as I possibly can for the sole purpose of keeping my sanity as coherent as I can keep it. And try to get as much work done as I can. I have a set task list. I could be making thousands of dollars. I could be making over $1,000 a week if I could just find the space and a place to concentrate on it. And that's not even that much. That's $53,000 a year before taxes. And but it's double what I'm making now. Yeah, like six more things went through my head that I can't talk about yet. Use your imagination. So yeah, what else can I do? Clean, just clean. If when I go to bed tonight, this place is acceptably clean and everything's put away, there's no dirty dishes, there's no clothes to fold, everything looks tidy and clean and organized, even if that will do a tremendous amount of good for helping me with the next thing. And I am purposely not going to, I am going to do everything in my power to keep these 4 days from having to be on the bicycle. The 78-mile ride on Friday was necessary. It was for a good cause. I don't have any regrets. But it turned it the 78-mile bike ride, followed by Saturday going 40 miles to and from the bakery to work a shift, followed by having to sit here all day Sunday listening to a bunch of dingbats digging and banging on walls and doing construction work and coming in and out of the place and in and out of the place and in and out of the place all day. I couldn't do anything except recover physically. I couldn't do any work I couldn't do anything productive on Sunday at all. None. And only to be at the end of the Sunday without any hot water still. Followed by Monday, riding my bike back and forth to the bakery to having one of the biggest stock days we've had in months. We depleted a lot of our stock last week. We were very busy. So there was a lot of lifting, and it took me from 8:30 in the morning till almost 2 in the afternoon to get all the heavy bags of flour and sugar and chocolate chips and everything else put away. 50-pound boxes and 50-pound bags and 50-pound boxes of butter, and yeah, all that took 5.5 hours to get that done. Normally it takes 2-3 hours depending on so anyway, I did all of that and then rode my bicycle home, and now today is the day after that. So there's 4 days of why I look like the way I do today. And yet, like I said, yesterday I came home, didn't even have running water, let alone hot water. Couldn't take a shit and be able, I got one flush of the toilet. So I was like, I need water. Like, the water needs to run. Like, that can't. I'd have been if he told me forget about it, you're not going to have running water, believe me when I tell you, I would have had running water a couple hours later. I would have done something that would have made sure that I had water running at that point. There would have been something that happened that didn't have to happen, but I'm just going to leave it all there. It's an hour and 2 minutes. I said I would cap this at an hour. So that's my plan for the day, but really all I can do right now for the rest of the time I live in this fucking dump is try to keep my sanity as the best I can and just it's like being on a bicycle ride. It's kind of like when I got stuck out in the sand where there was supposed to be a road, but there was nothing but sand. I don't know how many videos back that was, but you know, you might, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'd have to go back. Google Maps told me there was a road. I get there, there's no road, but there's a trail going back through the woods. But the trail was sand, kind of like being in Florida. Anywhere when you're near the coast, your ground is basically made of sand. So it was a sand trail through the woods. I couldn't even ride my bike on it mostly. And it finally I was completely lost and didn't know what to do. And I almost did have a complete nervous breakdown because of everything else going on around me. And the reason why I had to go out here in the first place, which I shouldn't have had to do. And I shouldn't have had to waste a whole Friday of my life doing this. I could have been making money. I could have been doing something productive. But now I got to go on an 80-mile bike ride because someone's a piece of shit. And I have to survive. And so you just say, okay, put one foot in front of the other. Just keep doing that. Eventually, I didn't have to ride on sand anymore, and I'm on paved roads again. Get to a road that's really rough, like the texture of the road surface was unbelievably bad. It wasn't potholes, it wasn't cobblestones, it was just The way that they paved the road caused the road surface to be so rough that you couldn't ride a bicycle on it. A road bicycle. A mountain bike would have been totally fine. A mountain bike, you wouldn't have even known there was something wrong with the road. But a road bicycle, it was, the vibrations coming through the bicycle were so insanely awful. It was shaking my bike apart. And I'm like, how long can this go on? It went on for 6 miles. I had to go 6 miles at a pace of about 6 to 10 miles an hour. So it took me almost an hour to go 6 miles. Here I'm 6 miles from the destination. I'm like, oh, I'll be there in no time. Nope. That was one of the worst parts of the ride. And then when I turned around to come home, because it's Houston, there's only one possible way to get from point A to B, no matter where you want to go or where you're trying to get. I had to go back the same way I came. And for 6 miles, I had to figure out how to do this road. I almost got to the point where I was going to drop my tire pressure by 50% just so that I could try and smooth it out. But then I would have had to ride the rest of the way home on half of the air in my tires, and it would have made the ride home slower overall. So I'm like, just put up with it, because it's only 6 miles out of the 40 miles you've got to go. And then, I rode until I found Chipotle, and then, I got something to eat, and, it was a long day, but, everything ended up fine in the end. But there were times on this bike ride, the sand show in particular, where I was like, honestly, I can say since the day I got out of, I was by myself out in the middle of the woods. Nobody was around me. I can say that from the day I got out of prison to where I was stuck out in the sand out in the middle of the woods on a sand trail, unable to even ride the bike. I got to a ravine with no bridge to get across, even though Google kept telling me there's a road here. I had the worst mental breakdown I've had since the day I got out of prison, right there in that woods on Friday, that afternoon, on that day. Hands down, the worst mental breakdown I've had since the day I got out of prison. Way beyond anything I've had. I'm still reeling from the mental breakdown I had the other day. Mentally. Like, it's still affecting me now. The breakdown was so intense. But I picked myself up, and I decided to just I was just going to turn around and go back home and say, fuck it. I tried. But I don't give up that easy. I'm stubborn. I'm too stubborn. I'm like, fuck it. I was kind of like, I was halfway to the destination. Exactly halfway. And I found a way out of the woods that would not force me to backtrack the way I came. And I got onto a paved road again. And there was a place right across the street, right across the road from where I came out of the woods, to take a break and have a little water break and be away from the road for a minute and just sit down and regroup and reformulate and to pray to God and do all the things to help me get out of that mental anguish that I was in. And right at that moment, I got back on the bicycle. I rode to the destination. I had more hardships, but they didn't affect me anymore. It was annoying, but the hardship of the broken road didn't hit me like being out in the middle of the woods on that sand trail where there was supposed to be a road, and Google screwed me. But I already knew Google, you can't go on a ride that long relying on Google's bicycling directions, and I even manually adjusted things outside of Google's bicycle route because I know better. And some of the suggestions that I made and tweaked and changed, they they were good. They were good moves. Google, but I knew this would happen. I gave myself enough time to get to the destination, knowing that this was going to happen. And then when it happened, I had the biggest mental breakdown I've had since the day I came out of prison. In fact, I never had a mental breakdown like this when I was in prison. Like, this was the worst mental breakdown I've had possibly in 10 years. That's where I was mentally, stuck out in the woods on that trail of sand. It was almost like God brought me out there to be by myself, to be surrounded by sand, like Jesus wandering the desert, a desert full of sand. I don't know. He brought me there to let me have that mental breakdown and yell and swear and throw things and have a major fucking meltdown, so that I would be out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods, not surrounded by anybody. Nobody could hear it. Nobody could see it. It was intense. And then it was over. I picked myself up. I found my way out. I get to the road. I say, I can't even get on the road and start riding now until I have a water break. We pray. God and I have some words. And we talk this out. And we figure out the next move. I get back on the bike. I start riding. Everything's fine. Even when it wasn't fine, it was fine. I didn't even care. I was annoyed by the road surface being all jacked. But I was like, it's not going to stop me. I'm almost there. And then I get there. And, everything, it is what it is. And I turned around and started coming home. And I had this craving for Chipotle all day from the moment I left. But on my way back, I'm like, okay, out where I was, out in the middle of nowhere, there was one place to get a bite to eat, a restaurant. And then the rest was like, there were a few convenience stores. So there was one neighborhood I went through that had like grocery stores, McDonald's, things like that. And so on my way back, I decided I'm going to skip this restaurant, and because of the bad road surface. I would have eaten at the restaurant if the road surface was nice. But when I got to that restaurant and I'm on that horrible road with I'm like, I want to get through this. I don't want to have to eat at this restaurant and then get back on this road and have my first experience after leaving the restaurant being 4 or 5 miles on this road. I just want this road to be in the rearview mirror. I want to be past it. So I go past the road. And now the only place I can possibly eat on the way home, the next place I'm going to come to is like almost 20 miles away. 20 or 15, 20 miles away from where I am. Something like that. 20 miles. I got to go another 20 miles before I can even find a place to eat, unless I pull over and eat at a convenience store, which I'm craving Chipotle. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, if I get to that strip mall area on this road where all those things are, if McDonald's is what I eat, McDonald's it is. I don't care. I'll go to the grocery store. There's a McDonald's. I thought there was a Burger King. I'm like, there's a few different fast food restaurants down in this strip mall shit show. I'll eat at McDonald's. McDonald's would do the job right now. And by the time I got to that area, I could see it off in the distance, but I'm still like a mile away from it. I'm like, it's like a mirage in the desert, or you start to see palm trees in the desert and you start walking that way, but it might take you 4 hours to get there. I'm like, whatever I see first, I have to stop and eat. I was at 60 something miles at that point. I was about 60 miles in at that point, and I hadn't eaten and all day yet. Didn't eat a single bite of food all day. And so now it's just like the tank is empty. I got to eat the next thing I see. What's the very first fucking restaurant in this whole strip of businesses is Chipotle. The very first one. There was nothing closer to me than Chipotle. Nothing. Chipotle is the very first restaurant. It's literally like a bunch of empty space and fields and woods and just nothing, like a whole bunch of nothing, and then Chipotle. And then after Chipotle, there's a bunch of strip malls and a grocery store, and, there's probably a Walmart down there somewhere, but it was a whole miles long strip of businesses, like suburban sprawl stuff. But the very first thing was Chipotle, and I never even knew it was there. I rode past it on my way out to where I was going, but I never saw that there was a Chipotle there. I never even saw it. I wasn't paying any attention. I just had this craving all day long for Chipotle, and there it was. Exactly not just food, but exactly the food I wanted all day long. And I really was sitting there. I'm sitting there at Chipotle, so happy to eat this giant burrito. I don't even know how the woman behind the counter rolled the thing up because I filled it with so much stuff. I'm like, you're going to have to get another burrito and just make it like a double burrito. Like, I don't know how you're going to... She got it. What the fuck was that? Oh my fucking God, this fucking place is falling apart. I kid you not. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to have to go. See you later.